So I'm going to do my project assessment. And my project is creating a summer youth employment program for South Park Youth that is a collaborative effort between my organization, Neighbor to Neighbor, and another organization that does work in the community, the Interfaith Food Shuttle. And the title of the employment program is Young Green Entrepreneurs. And I don't necessarily love the name, but it's kind of what I'm going with so far. And if it ever did come to a point where we would actually want to implement this, I would definitely solicit some ideas from staff and youth on what to call it. But it's kind of what we're going with so far. So as a side note, it's a neighborhood project. And if you're a map person, maybe to kind of help you give you some context, if you type in South Park, Raleigh, NC into Google Maps, the neighborhood will pop up and it'll kind of give you the boundaries. So it'll kind of give you the context on where the neighborhood is in Raleigh. So maybe that's helpful for you. But if not, don't worry about it. The rating scale is 1 through 4, and 1 being not participatory, 2 slightly unparticipatory, 3 slightly participatory, and 4 very participatory. And the first category that we needed to rate our project on was community involvement in the planning, implementing, and monitoring. And I rated my project a 2. There are certain things within this project that are on the table for being shaped by the community, but many aspects of the project are still controlled by the 2 organizations responsible for implementation. So youth have a say in what type of businesses they want to visit and what type of colleges they want to visit, but any of these requests are still filtered through the program staff. And so if these requests are deemed to be appropriate, they are pursued and implemented. And I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing, and I think it just kind of comes with being a professional youth development person, that we have the knowledge on how best to proceed. But it's still important to get feedback from the youth. And the youth who participate, the ones who've kind of graduated through the program, will have a key role in monitoring and shaping the project for future years. And in all my time at Neighbor to Neighbor, we have never not finished a program and not evaluated it with some of the key youth who have just participated. And so these evaluations and these conversations with youth after our program, all the things that are said, all these requests, they're taken very seriously, and they're really used to make adjustments in subsequent years. And again, any changes that are suggested by the youth who have just participated are filtered through the program staff. It's not a very robust process. A lot of times it's just side conversations, really informal. So we could use a more formalized approach to really monitoring and evaluating. Therefore, I rated it a 2 versus something higher, and not a 1 because we do get some community involvement in some of these areas, but probably could do a little bit better. So the second category is local capacity built through the project. And the aim of the project is to help youth develop internal capacity to be able to compete with other youth for jobs that are appropriate for their age. And so many of the youth lack the internal capacity to be able to effectively compete for jobs, and thus are continually left out and excluded from mainstream society, especially in the realm of employment. I rated my project a 3 instead of a 4 in this area because while our current job readiness classes for the adults and the youth really came out of the community asking for it, the aspect of the project that is responsible for building internal capacity is still chosen solely by Neighbor to Neighbor without any formal consultation from the community and or the youth. And again, I think this is just something that comes with being a professional youth development organization, someone that kind of has a little bit of expertise in this area. And so I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but that's why I kind of kept it as a 3 versus a 4, because it's participatory, but I feel like some of the decision making is still handled by the organization that's implementing it. So the impact, the third one, is the impact on local power structures and God complexes, and I rated my project a 2. And after conducting the problem tree, this category really kind of came to new light. And youth employment in the neighborhood is rampant, and it exists for a variety of reasons, and there are many root causes that are very deep and systemic in nature, and they're all rooted in some unjust power structure. But however, my project doesn't deal with these power structures directly, and instead this project deals with giving youth an opportunity to be able to compete on a level playing field with other youth that are appropriate, with other youth for jobs that are appropriate for their age, by developing job readiness skills, by developing that internal capacity. And so the project in its current form does not directly address the issue of God complexes. So it doesn't directly influence local power structures, and it doesn't directly influence the issue of God complexes. But as part of YGE, we'll bring in local business men and women to come and share with the class about what it takes to be whatever their profession is. So we believe that youth cannot become what they cannot see, and so it's important for them to see Raleigh businessmen and women from different professions to come and really share about what it takes to kind of get to where they're at. And we also ask Raleigh businessmen and women to open up their place of employment as an opportunity for youth to gain a greater sense of the possible. And so from past experience of running a job readiness class for youth, I know that this can be a transformational time for Raleigh businessmen and women. So when I think of a God complex, I think of it as a detached being, someone that's not really involved in the day-to-day lives of somebody, making decisions that influence the outcome of another. And by this project intentionally bringing together these folks who supposedly have a God complex alongside the people that they're supposedly playing God to, I know just from experience that it inevitably challenges this God complex by humanizing the other. And so for this reason, even though it's not explicitly stated in the project, I rated this a 2 versus a 1. Hope you enjoyed listening to my assessment and project, and you got just an idea of a little bit about what I'm doing. I didn't really give a whole lot of details on how the project is going to actually be implemented, but we'd love some feedback. Thank you.